Good morning. By virtue of the authority conferred on me as Vice-Chancellor, I constitute this Assembly a congregation of the University of Cape Town.
Please remain standing for the national anthem. Dedication. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to invite Lusani Nemalili, a member of the Students' Representative Council, to read the university dedication.
Thank you. At this time of celebration, we, the members of the University of Cape Town, reaffirm our mission to nurture rational and creative thought and free inquiry, to strive for excellence in teaching and research, to educate for life, and to address the challenges of our society. We undertake to advance these ideals in a spirit of freedom and responsibility, and through consultation and debate. We celebrate our founders, benefactors, and predecessors, those who have built the fabric and nourished the values of UCT. To those of you who will graduate today, we wish courage, wisdom, and purpose. To those who will leave the university to learn and work elsewhere, may you be sustained by those values which unite us here today and advance them in the world beyond. A love of truth and of learning and of this, our university. Thank you.
Please be seated.
Walking down the side of the street, just get ready to leave. Right up the sunny side of the street, can't you hear a better path that comes? Who the happy tune is your step? Life can be so divine. Right up the sunny side of the light, show you it, 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 show you it. Have you ever gone That you have to do is listen to the song that goes on to stay. Yes, it will never ever fade away. And just see what happens. That happy sound that's coming on is the sound of a tenor saxophone that is played with heart and soul. And Mr. Sunny said, oh, we're coming from the sun that you know just to be the sun's man. Show up, here it comes. Our lovely son to sing the song that you should know is dizzy. Look now. That pitter-patter sound is like a tapping sound. It's the sound of joy lingering over and out. Can't you hear the sound of joy and happiness coming over? We get into the start. Grabbing everything that you need on, come on, everything you get on, little honey, walking on the sunny side of the street. You'll never get your way just standing here. So grab your coat, it's time to have a ball. 'Cause I got a feeling as if no matter not getting my way to take it. I'm on the wonderful side of the road. So that I can be designed, I want it to get along. Grab your coat and get your head. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet on the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear a pitter-patter that comes? Ooh, that happy tune is your step. Life can be so divine on the sunny side of the night. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade. But now I'm not afraid. This road has crossed over if I ever had. One second I just run up and go rest at my feet on the sunny, on the shady, on the sunny side of the street.
Thank you very much for that musical item. Our students from the South African College of Music at UCT were very proud of them. Some people have been known to come to graduation just for the musical item and then to walk out. I would like to introduce them to you by name, the whole group. The national anthem and the processional Gaudeamus were led by singers from the UCT Opera School. They were accompanied at the organ by Eben Wachenstroom. The jazz standard On the Sunny Side of the Street, composed by Jimmy McHugh and Dorothy Fields, was sung by Vuyo Sotashe on vocals. Soloist Francois Botha on bass. And Monet Katz on guitar. Both Francois and Vuyo are graduating this week, and as a matter of interest, next year, in 2013, Vuyo will be studying at America's Manhattan School of Music as a Fulbright scholar. It is now my honor to invite the Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences to lead the faculty declaration.
Vice Chancellor, I invite all graduating students in our faculty to stand to make the faculty declaration. May I also invite all members of the platform party and members in the congregation to join our graduates in reaffirming their commitment to the practice of ethical healthcare. So all health professionals in the congregation are invited to stand and join us. The declaration can be found on page 6 of the blue book, which is on your chair. And I'll ask you to read with me. At the time of being admitted as a member of the health profession, I solemnly pledge to serve humanity. My most important considerations will be the health of patients and the health of their communities. I will not permit considerations of age, gender, race, religion, ethnic origin, sexual orientation, disease, disability, or any other factor to adversely affect the care I give to patients. I will uphold human rights and civil liberties to advance health, even under threat. I will engage patients and colleagues as partners in healthcare. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity. I will respect the confidentiality of patients, present or past, living or deceased. I will value research and will be guided in its conduct by the highest ethical standards. I commit myself to lifelong learning. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I admit to the degrees specified and grant the diplomas specified to the candidates recorded as being in absentia. I shall now grant the diplomas and admit to the degrees specified the candidates to be presented to me.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Audiology with distinction, recipient of the class medal for the highest performance in the final year and the gold medal for the best achievement throughout the degree, Leanne Aronsa. Samira Asmal. Luigina Egan Del Fava. Sita Lynn Edwards. Carol Ann Joy Franco. Vera Genevieve Latyesi. Anine Hugo. Jessica Stephanie Joko. Pulani Bridget Jonkomane. Nandipa Bakala. Jane Rufaro Maradze. Wandile Theophilus Mashecho. Nabila Slamang. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Occupational Therapy, Laurie Lee Adams. Cindy Martina Allison. Jamien Antonia Andrews. Alexandra Peter Bacon. Dean Benjamin. Karen Chanel Bester. Megan Caitlin Britton. Jessica Butcher. Ronalda Jacqueline Carlson. Firoza Kasem. Tasneem Dalwai. With distinction, recipient of the gold medal for the best achievement throughout the degree, Carolyn de Rook. Lizanne Esterhazen. Lauren Fuller. Fazeka Galeni. With distinction, Emma Louise Catherine Gray. Shazia Hafaji. Tracy Humbles. Faiza Khan. With distinction, Aviva Lazarus. Pumza Lukhoso. Masirufe Monica Machomane. Leah Stephanie Mook. Mia McKellar Bassett. Tansy Rose McGaw. Amy Peter Minigaldo. Ravania Naidu. Rachel Jean Nussbaum. Simon Rebecca Pass. Karen Mary Pollard. Nicole Rautenbach. Kate Lynette Rowland. Lisa Ann Springer. Kristen Elsa Swanson. With distinction, Tana van Rooyen. Kelly Patricia Westerman. Alexandra Jean Wilson Poe. Jessica Catherine Whitstock. Carrie Ann Lynn Wong Chong. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Physiotherapy, Karen Jacqueline Alexander. Kurt Arthur Barnes. Simone Fiona Bell. Thea Bale with distinction. Jody Ann Bowers. With distinction, Sarah Ann Bunga. With distinction, Karen Kinnear Campbell. Sheena Joan Cardis. Olivia Ann Catry. Marguerite Witz Clark. Lana Daniels. Jacqueline de Jong. Ashley Dillon Delport. Philippa Margaret Fitzgerald. Robin Lee Hawes. Chloe Horo. Sarah Elizabeth Hotchkiss. Razan Isaacs. With distinction, Kirsty Nonsekalelo Jackson. Sylvia Nyamagenyi Kununka. Lauren LeKay. Nadia LaRue. Yvonne Christiane MacDonald. Kupano Malebo. Laura Manogaran. Siposetu Makwelani. Kirsty Tamsin Marsh. Lunga Trina Matibula. Candice Renee Morgan. Zachariah Pandy. Roshan Parbo. With distinction, recipient of the class medal for the highest performance in the final year and the gold medal for the best achievement throughout the degree, Brett John Phillips. Hayley Anwen Potter. Jessica Megan Rabit. Lauren Lee Swiggers. With distinction, Stephanie Angura. Suhail Ahmed Vauda. Sarah Lee Warren. Michelle White. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Speech Language Pathology, Melissa Balgan. Alana Mary Booth. Fadziso Hannah Chotu. Ninka Kutsia. Samantha De Freitas. With distinction, recipient of the class medal for the highest performance in the final year and a gold medal for the best achievement throughout the degree, Tessa Frances Jill Dubois de Rickerberg. Cara Jamie Gibbon. Laura Helen Gorvin. Jessica Simone Gottlieb. Rebecca June Green. Salma Higgs. Shanae Edwina Jansen. Natalie Frances Manley. Mpo Violet Monese. With distinction, Gabriela Robin Morris. Malia Ori. Priyanka Parusnath. Michelle Powell. With distinction, Catherine Margaret Pratt. Amber Chantal Reline. Lauren Amy Rosen. Nicola Stockley. Natasha Vandenberg. For the degree of Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, Ross David Hoffman. Ilham Adams. With distinction in the preclinical examinations and the degree with honors, Alessandro Pietro Aldera. Athlete Arthur Alfred. Darlene Boyaki. Caitlin Louise Boshoff. Mikhail Robert Buerta. Christy Brink. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Joshua Christopher Luke Michael Brownbridge. With distinction in the clinical and final clinical examinations, Bradley John Brown. With distinction in the preclinical, clinical, and final clinical examinations, and the degree with first class honors, Cassandra Bruce Brand. Laura Marlene Brummer. Bilkis Kasim. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Claire Castellan. Julius Charles. Chenja Eden Chu. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Michelle Veronica Daniels. Danielle De Silva. With distinction in the clinical and final clinical examinations and the degree with honors, Sophie Angara Davies van Es. Nelson Serrao de Abro. Kimberly Darby Lewis. Janine Felicity Dewar. Sinetemba Pumla Dlongolo. With distinction in the preclinical, clinical, and final clinical examinations, and the degree with honors, Catherine Jean Dauld. Davina Doman. Rochelle Duffy. Sianda Mkuseli Duma. Nicole Cassandra Duplessis. Deirdre Martine Eckhart. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Adneem Edwards. Lillian Lise Engelbrecht. Muhammad Badi Isa. Malika Fakir. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Matthew Foster. Suraj Gairi. Jessica Stevens Gammon. Smarajita Ghosh. Zola Gidi Gidi. Nicholas James Giles. Megan Louise Goebel. Claire Melanie Godwin. Richard Paul Gonzalez. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Simon John Gowans. Siseko Mcebisi Gola. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Esther Katharina Gunter. Muhammad Ismail Hafaji. Sean Robert Hain. Amy Hangon. With distinction in the preclinical examinations, Mayuri Haribai. Khadija Bibi Hayat. With distinction in the clinical and final clinical examinations, Malika Hendricks. Pindile Clara Hlombe. Zoel Zara Alona Horowitz. Britt Randall Hosking. Arieka Valentine Ilora. Sherry Lee Ingham. Maya Jaffa. Rosa Jansen. Jose Jacob. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Hawa Jardine. Sven Dresser. Yashna Jugnandan. Mohammed Shaheen Kaji. Sheetal Kesam. Michael Keegan. Javed Khan. Ayanda Charity Kubone. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Lauren Kerry Knight. Lirato Kobe. With distinction in the preclinical, clinical, and final clinical examinations, and the degree with honors, Charles Frederick Kohler. Siobhan Lee Kotzer. Vuhiswa Boitumelo Kubeka. Tandiwe Lusanda Kubeka. Vuiswa Kumalo. With distinction in the clinical and final clinical examinations and the degree with honours, Catherine Jane Langtree. Dineo Bontle Latakhomo. Patricia Susan Layton. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Yiying Melissa Liu. Beatrix Luanda Iga. Nondumiso Susan Mabaso. Jonathan Frederick Olaturji Macaulay. With distinction in the preclinical, clinical, and final clinical examinations, and the degree with first-class honours, recipient of the class medal for the highest performance in the final year, and the gold medal for the best achievement throughout the degree, Nicola Amy McRobert. Yamkela Mafumana. Mtlahi Christopher Makubela. Luando Nando Mzuvikile Maki. Vuyukazi Makonjwa. Kolani Martin Mangani. Gabaza Euphemia Mashele. Antile Pamela Masilela. Teboho Matlala. Kamisa Babalwa Mbalo. Ayanda Apiwe Mbauli. Nasipi Mzindwa. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Jean-Marie Mainkis. With distinction in the preclinical, clinical, and final clinical examinations, and the degree with first-class honors, Suzanne Minna. Bontle Bessie Mitchell. Smangele Mjoli. Nolutando Nokolunga Mkize. Linda Charles Gordon Mlochwa. Mbali Palesa Mohomotsi. Wafika Mohammed. Mansane Mokone. Wendy Busisiwe Mulaudzi. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Lebohang Moloi. Teboho Monchwe. Yumna Musa. Kitso Lesedi Brubata. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Kateko Lucille Simeki. Vusani Lillian Mudao. Emmanuel Mwine Mugunzi. Tesham Naika. Helena Muningeni Nawa Nashandi. Nolukolo Ayanda Ngete. Sipesihle Pearl Ndelu. Nontokozo Joy Pearl Ndlovu. Sanelisiwe Luleka Ngaka. Patience Nokwanda Ngongama. Madisebo Mahaliso Lydia Nkatlo. Ntokozo Claudia Nkomo. Masekala Pauline Nkondo. Kaya Letu Bethwell Nkontwana. Tandiswa Nodada. Pateka Patience Ntaba. Itumeleng Moko Ntatamala. Rufaro Tomfadzenei Nyamuda. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Ashley Ann Ord. Muhammad Tashrik Parker. Nicholas Ian Park Ross. Mohammed Quraish Patel. Ashraf Peterson. Mishka Peterson. Watile Pakati. Cassandra Suminthra Pillai. Nivashan Pillai. Sunturi Pillai. Matthijs Gerardus Potgieter. Megan Elizabeth O'Brien. Michelle Justine Powell. Rudo Mutsa Vanessa Chwalai. Nombasa Palesa Quench. Safia Randera Rees. With distinction in the preclinical and final clinical examinations and the degree with honors, Joanna Tandiwe Reed. Christopher Lloyd Richards Edwards. With distinction in the preclinical and final clinical examinations and the degree with honors, Ilse Ritter. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Brogan Kelly Salins. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Jamie Kathleen Scott. Michelle Sandra Sharpie Schaefer. With distinction in the preclinical examinations and the degree with honors, Anna Marie Christina Sharples. With distinction in the clinical and final clinical examinations and the degree with honors, Melissa Lee Sharwood. Munira Asma Sheikh Yusuf. Kakamba Africa Tandisisiwe Loiso Sigaka. Kanyezi Nandi Sigasa. Lebohang Pusisiwe Skosana. Anile Slave. Damien Peter Smith. With distinction in the clinical and final clinical examinations, Pamela Josephine Smith. Warren Bradley Smith. C.K. Rossetti So. Ryan Sukkar. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Nicola Jane Springer. Zanda Thomas. Kirsty Mary Thwaites. Tina Tom. With distinction in the final clinical examinations, Sean Andrew Trump. Kaletso Karen Tsebe. Mpo Elias Tselaniane. Wanda Siabonga Shabalala. Mohammed Faisal Vauda. Martin Ross Verhage. With distinction in the preclinical, clinical, and final clinical examinations, and the degree with first-class honors, Alexander Ralph von Klemperer. Linda Sibongile Kumenjane. Joshua Michael Ward. Michael Jeffrey Eyre Wheeler. With distinction in the preclinical, clinical, and final clinical examinations, and the degree with first-class honors, Karen Ray Visa. With distinction in the preclinical, clinical, and final clinical examinations, and the degree with first-class honors, Judy Ann Williams. Siasanga Unit Yekani. Yun Chi Yu.
Ladies and gentlemen, graduates, new doctors, you've made it. It's been a long haul. Some of you have taken 4 years, some have taken 8 or 9. But you're here. And I know that you will want to express your appreciation to the people who've got you here and helped get you here. And I invite you, graduates of today, to stand up, find your parents, family, loved ones in the audience, make eye contact with them, and wave your scrolls in appreciation to them and show them your appreciation. Thank you. When you graduate from the University of Cape Town, you graduate, of course, with a degree that has international standing, a degree that has been tested, a degree that has been tried by history and tradition and has a phenomenal reputation. But when you go out and in the years to come, and you will be ambassadors for this university, ambassadors for the country, ambassadors for your families, and you will be judged not so much on the quality of your degree, because knowledge changes, and within about 10 years, half of what you've learned will probably be out of date and have to learn it again. But you'll be judged by the kinds of people you are, the values and the ethos. And when people judge the university in the future and they say, this is a UCT graduate, we want them to say that not because you passed with first-class honors, but because you represent a value system which UCT holds dear and which we hope through the years you have acquired as well and you have identified with. Some of that value system was represented in the modified Hippocratic Oath that you all took earlier in the ceremony, an oath that marks your transition from being preclinical or undergraduates to being people who are entrusted by the public, by society, with that very special privilege of being able to look after people, to make life and death decisions, to be able to know people in the most intimate ways. It's a trust which society puts in you, we all put in you. Most of us will be needing you to treat our Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and we put that trust in you, but the measurement of it will be the extent to which you uphold the values of this university. It's also, as you leave the university and graduate, you become members of a special community called Convocation. You, for life, are members of Convocation. You don't have to pay anything to be a member. All you have to do, though, is to keep in touch with us, because the Convocation of the university plays a special role in providing the continuity from the past into the future, and in fact in providing and ensuring that the standards of the university are upheld and that the university remains the kind of university which our alumni will always be proud of. And it does that through the governing body, the Council of the University, which you as Convocation members will elect several members to the Council. You will also elect the Chancellor of the University, currently Mrs. Grosser-Michel, and you will participate through alumni associations, through chapters in South Africa and around the world, and through giving us feedback on our website and through annual and frequent communications to tell us how we're doing and what you think we should be doing. But the requirement is that you keep in touch with us so that we can communicate with you and tell you what's going on. So as we come to the end of this wonderful ceremony, I want to just say one special word of appreciation to the Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, who is retiring at the end of this year. So this is her last but one graduation, and invite you just to give a round of applause to someone who's done a job so very well. It's been a long ceremony and a hot one, but I think you'll agree that it's worth every minute to see these wonderful graduates and to see the wonderful families and support that they have had celebrate together. Well done.
We have now come to the end of the formal part of this morning's ceremonies, and if you will accept a note of thanks from the heart from me for being reasonably well behaved. That is what we started in the morning, and I think we kept to our pact. Thank you very much.